Good morning, everyone. I'm back at camp after my day for yesterday's video, and I'm working tomorrow, so I figured I'd better get a video made. There, added some more light. Get a video made because I'm going to be out of commission tomorrow. Let me get this right. Okay, it's been a nice day. It was overcast a lot, so it stayed a little cooler, but I've still got my air on. I think the phone does a good job of filtering that out, but you can still hear the birds. My geese are down the end of the peninsula here, so you can't see them, but I see them. I have to cut back on my feeding them anyway because they were getting too dependent. You don't want them to learn to get all their food from humans. They want to be able to forage and only give them treats. They got to where every time they saw me, they came to where I was at. So I can't feed them as much. They're learned to come occasionally and see if I've got food, and if not, go away. All right, we're still trying to get my son's medication. We went in today to try to get the script so we can take it to where we want to take it and shop it out. And the doctor had today off. Well, they called yesterday and told us to check with them and they would have it written ready for us. And he didn't get the message in time yesterday and didn't call back. So we're playing tag. Got to get him his medication. All right. So pray that that gets resolved next week. We got to wait till then. And I've got a VA appointment on Monday where they're going to let me know about my knee, I think. Whether or not they're going to do any further with it. It needs to be operated on. I have no cartilage, no meniscus. It's bone on bone. Well, there's the geese. They're coming back. They see my window open. They might come up here. We'll see what happens. And tomorrow, that's why I'm doing this video here in the afternoon. Tomorrow I'm working. I'm doing an independent film, not one of the ones I normally work on. There's a group coming here from Arkansas that's renting my friend's studio for the day. And I'm going to help work camera. And I think they've given me a line or something to have a cameo. I haven't seen this filmmaker in ages, so it'd be good to have some visitation time, but we got so much work to do tomorrow. I don't know how much we're going to get. Anyhow, so that's why I'm doing this. I don't know. I'm assuming that everybody watching me and is a Christian is not paying attention to what the left is doing. The only people paying attention to the left are their trained, indoctrinated personnel. Anybody watching ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, you have been indoctrinated. You have been drinking the Kool-Aid so long, you don't know half the truth. I'm not encouraging this, I'm merely making a statement that if the people of the United States knew what their government was doing to them, they'd grab their pitchforks and be heading to Washington. I'm not calling for that. But they don't know. They're oblivious. The first warning from Jesus, don't be deceived. Well, they have been. Eve was deceived, grabbed a hold of Adam, deceived him, and we're living in a world of deception. Big time. My son showed me a picture of Biden, I don't know, 10 years ago, and Biden now. He's either had a stroke and or a facelift, or both. Don't know. He's not all there. They have a plan. Don't think they're not doing all this with, oh my God, we're in trouble, what do we do? No, they're following a plan and everybody's reading a script. Even the president's reading a script. Kamala can read a script. That's why they're going to let her be in there. They don't care who the president is. They just want somebody who will say, put the teleprompter in front of me, let me read, and do whatever you want to do. And tell me what to do, I'll do it. So she's got no perceived political experience in her entire life other than maybe being an attorney general in California. And that's like being a dog catcher on the North Pole. Again, just follow orders. What's going on? I sat and watched while I was at my son's. I watched an hour or so of Congress getting up and speaking, or at least the House. He's going, well, look, all this good stuff they're doing, we're going to be okay. I had to explain to him, so I'm going to explain to you. The House, because we don't have a majority, a supermajority, we can't overrule anything else that the rest of the government's doing. The only way to overrule the president is to have a supermajority in the House and Senate. The only way to get stuff passed out of the House and approved by the Senate is to have enough votes, and we don't. So whatever the House does, there's only one thing that they have complete control of, and I'll get in a second what that is. But whatever they pass, it's never going to see the light of day. The Senate will block it, and you won't even get a vote. So that way you can't look to the Senate and say, look, you voted against this 20 times. They're not even going to bring it up for a vote. It's all politics, and it's all deception. Now, the only thing the House can do is they control the purse strings. The government can order Obamacare, for instance, and passed it, enacted it, made everybody start signing up for it. And then when we said, wait a minute, this isn't what we signed up for, we don't want it, the House came in and defunded it. The only thing they can do is turn the money off. Now, they can get money from other places, but that was such a big dongle hanging out there, you could see it everywhere. That's a computer term. Don't let your mind wander. So the House turned the money off now. The only thing that I'm upset about is there was a VA clause into the Obamacare that if you ever have to wait, apply, and they'll let you go to an outside doctor. And I got my one knee operated on. But before I could get my second knee, it got defunded. I wasn't paying attention. I don't like following politics. But anyhow, the House really can't do anything other than defund things. And the way the government is working, they get money for special programs. People put out money for these shovel-ready programs. All that money went to the unions. It never went to shovel-ready work. Maybe a little bit just so they can say they did. But it went to bail out the unions who are our pyramid scheme. I hate unions, and I shouldn't hate anything. I believe in what the union stands for as far as what it should be protecting and doing, but it's not doing that anymore. All it's doing is raising money for politics. You don't have a choice. If you're in that union, they take the money out of your check to donate to the left in this case. And I don't care if it was the right, it's still not right. So the Democrats are in charge. They know what's happening. They may have been hoping, they're not going to admit this, but they may have been hoping that the assassination attempt went through and it was complete and they were done with Trump. That was plan A. They're on plan B now. So the big boss says he's not going to run. They're going to go to plan C, where he's going to either step down or die. They may be keeping him alive. He may be Weekend at Bernie's, where they wheel him out until somebody says, hey, he's cold. Oh, yeah, I guess we need to. They shouldn't have put Camilla in as the runner. They're supposed to be a primary. So they're not even following their own rules. Now that she's in, They can either have an election if they think they can rig it like they did the last time, and yes, I am 100% confident that they stole the election. You can disagree, that's fine. In my opinion, they stole last election. I live in Georgia. Georgia would never have voted this guy in. And when do their ballots get counted? After 1 o'clock at night, when the main workers went home. It's all circumstantial, but that's why these guys are. They cover their tracks. They covered their tracks on the assassination attempt, just like they covered the tracks of the Kennedy attempt. JFK Jr. just dropped out of the race and said he's going to put all of his support behind Trump. The real Democrats are in a war too. The left is so far left, they might as well go to hell straight and just skip going past home plate. Just go right straight to hell. I'm not sending anybody there. I'm just jokingly saying that's how far left they are. They're already living in the suburbs of hell. And the true Democrats that we used to have, they've been pushed aside, retired. The only ones that are left are the ones that drank the Kool-Aid and are offering it to others. They want the one world government because they're hoping there's going to be a place for them. Understand, when Hitler took over, he had plans too, and he brought people in, and he brought the media in, and there's going to be a place for you, and there's going to be a place for everyone. And then when they got in power, they were all fired, and the government took over everything. That was a dry run for what we're seeing now. Hitler was a dry run for the Antichrist. We're going to see him come on the scene soon. Now, we may not see it here, but the world will see it. I keep warning you, be prepared. At this point in time, I'm living on my Social Security check. If they cut that off, I will be living on my food stores that I have. If they cut it off permanently, I'm going to have to go back to living in the wild. There's game in these woods. But they will do their best to stop that. Satan wants people dead. And he wants the whole world to die. And if he could do it, he would. But God put limits on him. You see in the Bible all the time, angel will go down and pour this bowl of wrath out over here, but don't harm those with the mark, the forehead mark, the Jesus mark. Don't harm them. Well, Satan has to follow all the rules that God gives him. He can only do what God lets him do. And all the destruction, all the chaos, is what God is letting him to do, because this is what the people say they want. So God is letting them have what they want. He's not sending anybody to hell. He's not punishing anybody. He's not torturing anybody. They all say, we want to live without you. And they're getting it. So when people say, well, how can you like a God who's mean to people? He's not mean to people. He's overly nice to people, to the point where they're suffering because they got what they wanted. And what's coming in the book of Revelation is going to be something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And we're supposed to love even our worst enemies, so I certainly wouldn't wish the continuation of the book of Revelation on them. That's why I jumped all the way to the last chapter. I didn't want to go over that at that moment. It's depressing. Not for us, but we know people that are not going to be in the rapture. I know people that are not going to be in the rapture. I've talked to them and talked to them and talked to them, and they show no interest. They don't shut me down. That's good. So I'm planting seeds, hopefully. I don't know. Only God knows. All right. How long have I got on this? This isn't a long video, about 15 minutes. I'm worried about the world. And I'm worried how much we're going to see and have to put up with before we're out of here. I'm as worried as, not completely, but like Jesus when he was in the garden. He knew what was coming, the cross. Now, what we have is not going to be that. But I'm still worried about what's coming. But I've agreed to stay here. Not my will be done, but yours. I say the same thing. I don't know how much we're going to see. I don't like to see death. And the world is going to see a lot of it. I hope we see very little of it, other than what we see on the news if you choose to watch it. The UK just turned against Israel. They had an election. They let all these people in their borders. And they turned the election. And they just agreed to remove their objection to putting out the arrest warrant for Netanyahu. They just told Netanyahu, don't come to the UK. We'll have to arrest you. The whole world will be against Israel. The Bible says so. In France, they just started the Olympics. They had to shut down the train station because of bombs that they say were there. Other threats they've averted so far, but there's so many people in their borders that want to kill everybody, especially the Jews. The Jews won't be safe until they leave France and get back inside of Israel. And that's only a short-term safety. There won't be any place in the world for Jews except for Israel, but then Satan will focus all of his attacks there. They're not all there yet. But they will be. God will protect those that he said he would protect. So, if it seems to be smooth going, find the man behind the curtain. They're working something. If it's bumpy, look around and see what else is going on. They're hiding something. This is their strategy. To lull you into passiveness, to not get involved. I can't do anything. They tried with COVID to make everybody stay away from everybody. Isolation, another tactic. You can't talk to people. You can't compare notes. You can't agree that, hey, God's out there. We can do what we want. Just like God never changes, Satan has the same techniques that he's always used. Lies, deception, distraction. Stay safe. If you keep your mind on the Word, there's no room for Satan to get in. Jesus said he can't have a demon in him because he's got the Spirit of God. When they accused him of that, I talked about that recently. Satan can't do his work if the Spirit of God is there. They don't coexist. Heaven must be a big place for Satan to live up there with his angels and not be bumping into God all the time. Now, he goes to him all the time to tattletale on you, but God goes, well, my son says he's okay. So we're okay that way. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.